goes, well, I want to be tall, but Dad is freak tall. My wife can be a little jealous sometimes, you know. I was actually just in a movie, had a small bit part in a movie with Kate Upton, who is a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model who's made millions of dollars, married to a famous baseball player who has also made millions of dollars. And I get home from filming, and I tell my wife it was awesome, and at one point I got to hang out in the green room with just Kate Upton, and she was very nice to me. My wife goes, wait a second. You were alone with her? I cannot believe you would put yourself in that situation. I was like, well, I don't know what you thought was gonna happen. Like, I'm talking to her and she just interrupts me like, whoa, wait a second. Are you the Jeremy Nunes? The comedian with tens of followers on Twitter? And I mentioned our little boy earlier. We actually have 2 kids. I got a boy who's about to turn 5, and I got a 1-year-old girl. And the boy is super active, super energetic. I was actually just playing with him in the yard, had one of those like rubber dodgeball things, kind of rolling back and forth, bouncing back and forth. And out of nowhere, he just decides he's gonna run straight for the road. So I start chasing after him, and I realize there's a car coming, and he's gonna get to the road before I can get to him. So I just took the ball, nailed him with it. Now I can say I hit my kid with a dodgeball for his safety. And both of our kids we're at the doctor's office all the time, one thing after another. You know, we're actually just in the doctor's office with my son. We thought he had a concussion because some guy hit him in the head with a dodgeball. And he's always got something to say. We just got done eating dinner, and he wanted to be done. And I go, no, you didn't eat all your vegetables. And my wife says, yeah, don't you want to be big and tall like Daddy? He goes, well, I want to be tall, but Dad is freak tall. Because I ate just the right amount. Another time he's just running around the house causing chaos, and we're trying to get him to stop, but he won't stop, and he's just laughing and laughing, and eventually I catch him. I put my hand on his shoulder and I kneeled down, and I said, son, nobody's laughing. And he goes, yep, just like your show. I didn't even say anything. I was like, that was pretty good. And I love when he travels with us. My son actually came with me and my dad to WrestleMania. Yeah, and we're sitting right on the aisle, right where the wrestlers pass through. And this wrestler named The Undertaker walks through. Now, if you don't know, The Undertaker is like 70, still wrestling. And he walks through, and I'm just having fun. I yell up to him, I go, hey, Undertaker! Time to retire, old man! And he stops, and he walks right up to me, and he goes, what'd you say? And I go, it was that guy. My dad's like, I did not say that. No, it was that little boy. And when it was over, we rush out of there so we're not stuck in traffic. We are the first car out of the parking lot, and the lady directing traffic stops us. And we keep having to wait and wait and wait. And my dad is more and more frustrated. And he goes, as soon as she waves us through, I'm gonna gun it. I don't even care. Right then, there's 2 people walking in front of the car. The lady waves us through. My dad slams on the gas. And these 2 people have to dive out of the way like they're rodeo clowns. And my dad is so mad, he just yells out the window, move it, or tonight you meet Jesus. I was like, Dad, could you watch what you say in front of my son? He goes, hey, he's heard worse. I was like, yeah, from you. What a great place to be. And the Dry Bar folks, they know how to put on a show, do they not? Wow. Man. They make everything so nice and easy. You know, I've been doing this for a living a long time, and a lot of times it is not easy. I was actually just driving to a show and ended up getting lost and had to stop and ask for directions. My GPS couldn't even get a signal. We ended up at one of these tiny old gas stations where it's just the one guy in the booth with his microphone. And you can't hear anything he says unless he talks right into that thing. You know? I tell him where I need to go. He goes, oh yeah. All you gotta do, go to that stop sign there, take a left. And then you just go up. There's been a string of carjacking, so... That gas station got robbed down. And then it's right next to the prison. Let's hope that helped. I was like, yeah, thanks a lot. We get back to the car, my friend goes, what did he say? Well, we're gonna go to the stop sign over there, take a left. After that, we probably die. This is a cool job to have. I get to travel around. I work with a lot of comedians that you see on film and TV. Some of you might actually recognize me from the movies. I'm the guy that always sits in front of you at the theater. One of the things I don't understand about being tall, though, is like, everyone asks me if I used to play basketball. Right? And I don't get it. Like, nobody just walks up to a short guy and goes, hey, are you a jockey? Or nobody walks up to, like, an overweight guy. Hey, is there a buffet around here? And it's the same conversation every time. People come up to me, they're shocked at my size. You know, they'll walk up and, whoa! You are tall. How tall are you? 6'6". No, you're way taller than that. Right? Nobody does that with the overweight guy. Nobody walks up to him, whoa! You are big. What is your waist size? 68. No. You're way bigger than that. Any store I walk into, someone will stop me and ask me to get something off the top shelf. Right? That doesn't work both ways. I can't grab some short guy walking down the cereal aisle. Hey! I dropped my keys. Why don't you pick those up? Everybody asks about my parents, want to know what my parents look like. Well, my mom is 5'6" and Italian, dad is 5'7" and Hispanic, and the FedEx guy 6'6" and pasty white. And I've been seeing my family a lot more lately. I used to live in Chicago, moved back to my hometown in southern Illinois. It did not take long for weird things to start happening. I was riding along, Christmas Eve. My dad's driving. I've got my 4-year-old son in the back seat. As we ride along on Christmas Eve, out of nowhere a deer hops out and bang! Dad nails it. First thing my little boy says, Rudolph! Dad goes, don't worry, buddy, we didn't kill him. I'm pretty sure he died when he fell out of the sky. But so I'm based out of Illinois. I travel all over the country, though, and everywhere I go, something weird happens. You know, I was just doing a show at a fundraiser, and there was a lady at this fundraiser the same height as me. I'm like, this is crazy. I wanted to say something to her, but I didn't know how to approach the situation with her being the same height. I just tapped her on the shoulder and I go, hey, do you play basketball? but so, moved back to my hometown. Funny thing happened when I moved back to my hometown. I actually got elected mayor of my town. Yeah. Oh, thank you. And the thing is, I ran for office as a joke. Like, I got my name on the ballot as comedian Jeremy Nunes, and my campaign slogan was, "Put a real joker in office." Because I was like, who would vote for that person? 80% of the town. But I guess I did an all right job. I actually won an award for being one of Illinois' most ethical mayors. So, yeah, thank you. And it was largely because I issued a fine to my parents. I remember my dad calling me when he found out. It's like, "Jeremy, why did I get this fine in the mail?" I was like, "Well, your grass is way too high. You have to mow your grass." He goes, "Jeremy, you mow our grass." I go, "Well, you should have called me sooner." And what a weird job. I had to review people's resume that wanted to work for the town. You know, one guy, his email address on his resume was bankrobber247@AOL. I was like, how creepy is that? Like, obviously, I cannot hire someone who still uses AOL. Another guy, I was interviewing him. He wanted to be our city manager. And I said, "Can you tell me the difference between a regulation and a statute?" And he goes, "Sure. Regulation is a rule or a code you have to follow. A statute is a sculpture, like the Statue of Liberty." I hired that guy. And sometimes you think you're going to argue all night about stuff at the city council, and it goes right through. And another time, you think it's going to go right through, you argue all night. Okay? One night, I asked the city council to approve the purchase of 6 new picnic tables for the park. No problem, goes right through. Then I just kind of toss out there, "Anybody care what color we get?" 2 hours! You know what color we decided on? Wood. In every town, there's always one knucklehead on the city council. Ours had a guy on the city council, won $100 on his lotto scratch-off ticket, quit his job. I put him in charge of the budget. But so, I finished out my term. I did not run for re-election. Just wanted to spend more time with my family. You know, my wife, I'm married to her. She is my best friend. And she just needs a little extra love and attention sometimes, you know? We almost didn't make it. When we were dating, she actually broke things off with me. We ended up, of course, patching it up. But I still don't quite understand. She was mad because I wouldn't break the law for her. She's 4'8", so I made her ride in a car seat. I'd be like, "It's for your safety." But of course, we got married, had to combine all of our stuff. So what was hers is now ours. What was mine is now for sale at Goodwill. And we have all kinds of stuff. We have her family stuff. Okay? My wife's grandpa played baseball for the St. Louis Cardinals. So we have a lot of old baseball memorabilia. Okay? One of the things we have is his cup. I know. And I try to get rid of it. My wife says, "No, it's part of baseball history." I grabbed it, threw it in the garbage. I was like, "Well, now it's history." She takes it out of the garbage and goes, "No, do not throw this away. It has value." And I'm trying not to laugh at her while she's shaking a used cup at me. And I said, "I will have that thing appraised and prove to you it does not have value." She said, "No, do not have this appraised." Then she fell asleep, and I had it appraised. And I take it in, and the guy goes, "What year did he play for the Cardinals?" I was like, "It was early 50s. He goes, "Okay, the company that made this cup went into business in 1984. So we just have some guy's cup. And I can't tell my wife. She'll know I went against her orders. It's just gonna keep being passed down through the family. My son will be a 4th generation cup bearer. We've been married long enough now. I've learned we gotta do stuff to have fun. One of the things we do for fun, we play a game a lot of you may have heard of. It's called Pick What Restaurant We're Gonna Eat At. You guys know that game? Oh yeah. She'll say, this is your night. I want you to pick. I'm like, all right, let's get some seafood. No. I'm like, okay, steak. No. Chinese. No. Then is the guy, you say the same thing every time at this point. Like, well, it sounds to me like you have a place in mind, and if you do, that's fine. Just say where you want to go, we'll go there. No big deal. Then she says the same thing back every time. Oh, I don't have a place in mind. I want you to pick. I'm like, all right, I'll keep guessing. Mexican. No. Pizza? If that's where you want to go. I'm like, yeah, thank you for letting me pick. Another thing, I don't know if this has made its way to you guys yet or not, but she drugged me to one of these escape rooms. You guys heard of these things? Yeah. Oh, I didn't want to go. She drags me to this. If you're not familiar, basically, they take you and a group of friends, they lock you in a room, and you have to solve a series of clues to get out, okay? So basically, you show up, you give a guy your credit card, let him lock you in a room. And we're in there, and this voice comes over the sound system and goes, I have hands, but cannot hold. And everybody's like, what is it? What could it be? And I'm like, why am I here? Because everyone knows hands that cannot hold in any riddle is what? Clock. Everyone knows this. Not the people I'm locked in a room with. You know what my wife's friend said? Oh, I bet it's a cat. I go, what? She goes, yeah, I wonder if there's a cat in here. I tapped her on the head. I go, I wonder if there's a brain in there. I go, guys, everyone knows hands that cannot hold it's a clock. Check the clock. Guess what? I was right. So we work our way through the clues. We get to the final one, and it's this huge, long, elaborate math problem. And it ends by saying, enter the answer on this phone keypad, and it's done. And everybody's like, there's no way. It's too complex. We'll never figure it out. And I was like, guys, it said enter the answer, and it's done. The answer is done, D-O-N-E, on the keypad. They go, oh, is it? Is it? Guess what? Didn't work. So eventually, we run out of time. They have to come let us out. And on the way out, just for kicks, I walk up and I enter done on the keypad, and it worked. And the lady who hit it originally was like, oh, I am so sorry. I did kind of think when I hit the buttons, I might hit a couple at the same time. I was like, thanks a lot, Deb. We'd already be out of here if it wasn't for you and your sausage fingers. Now, they sell this thing as like a bonding experience, right? All I know is I have way less friends now. And been married long enough to know that it's going to be successful. You're going to have to work together to solve problems. I was actually just telling my dad, our water heater went out, and so for my wife to be able to take a bath, I had to boil pots of water to dump in the tub. Right? He didn't quite understand. He's like, whoa, let me get this straight. She just lays in the tub while you pour boiling water on her? I was like, yep, that's what we do. She screams. And I guess it's normal to once in a while have a small verbal disagreement. She just came home from the grocery store. She goes, I hope you're not going to be mad at me, but I bought the wrong bag of tortilla chips. And I was like, how did you buy the wrong one? I told you could buy any brand. She goes, well, I bought unsalted. I go, get out! Then that led to a dark discussion over which of us would be in worse shape if the other one died. She goes, Jeremy, you would be lost if something happened to me. I go, you're right, I would be lost. Because I have no idea where you've put any of my stuff. She goes, yeah, you do, it's a Goodwill. And I actually recently got to perform at a national convention for a major cosmetics retailer. You've heard of them. And my wife actually sells for them, so I let her come along. Now I want you to imagine, gigantic ballroom filled with thousands of women who are jacked to the max to be selling ointment and lip balm. And all of a sudden, all the lights turn out, right? Stage lights come up, and this announcer from the back goes, give it up for your company president! All of a sudden, they start shooting off fireworks and pyro like it's the Super Bowl. They start blaring music they think is cool, but isn't anymore. It's like Jock Jams 94. Right? This guy comes out, and women start losing their minds, and he's a corporate guy. He doesn't know how to react to this, so he just comes out and goes like this. I was like, what is that? It looks like he's desperately trying to plunge a toilet, but he doesn't know how to hold the plunger. But eventually, he goes into his speech, and he announces that soon this company's going to launch a huge new marketing campaign, and everyone is going to know their name. And right then, this old lady in the back of the room stands up with her cane and goes, it's about time! I was like, geez, lady, we don't need to start a riot over this junk. Seriously, though, if anybody's interested, I will have catalogs available after the show. My dad wants to contribute to my comedy. He's always trying to give me jokes, but his jokes never make sense, and he always acts like he's smoking a cigarette, even though he doesn't even smoke. So I thought I'd give you my dad trying to give me a joke. You know how the phone company sends you a phone book? And then 2 weeks later, another company sends you a phone book. Like you didn't already have one. Huh? Who's with me? This is the same guy who drives around town playing a tape recording of an ice cream truck just to see kids chase him. And he just gave me his gun. And I was looking at it, I was like, Dad, I don't even see a safety lock on here. Does this thing have a safety? He goes, yeah, don't pull the trigger. Who's with me? And I love to take him to Mexican restaurants. He does the same thing a lot of you guys do. Suddenly feel the need to show off your Spanish-speaking skills. He'll get his food. Oh, mucho gracioso, biblioteca. He'll look at me. Who's with me? So, whenever I'm in front of a group, I always try to let you guys know about the great state of Illinois, where I'm from. If you're ever traveling through, I want you to be aware of one thing, and that is the Illinois State Police are giving away $100 rewards for anyone who calls and turns in a drunk driver on the road. For that very reason, I'm now $100 richer, and my dad no longer speaks to me. And I just heard a great story that I wanted to share with all of you. And that, my wife just told me this, that when she was single, she used to pray and pray and pray that she would never have another first date again until it was her final first date because she was so tired of having her heart broken. And one by one, every date she had scheduled got canceled until the day I showed up. And I go, wow, does that mean that when you met me the first time in your doorway, you thought, there stands my future husband? And she said, no, I thought, does he play basketball? Hope you guys had a great